Hello, in this video we will walk through a weekly routine for you to follow for MAT091. By following this weekly routine, you will be setting yourself up for success this semester. Here are some benefits of online learning, and then that will explain to us why it's so important that we have our own weekly routine. Yes, there's added flexibility in self-paced learning. Yes, you have the opportunities to develop stronger time management skills and to display and develop your own self-motivation. Online learning can improve your virtual collaboration and your communication because you'll be learning about all these new tools and ways to connect virtually, and it'll help you refine your critical thinking skills as you problem solve and troubleshoot certain things throughout the semester. You'll also develop some new technical skills, hopefully, with all the tools we will be learning. However, all that added flexibility in self-paced learning does require some dedication and commitment to managing your time efficiently and effectively. Let's just discuss the time commitment per week. If you were to take this 4-credit class in person, that means for 4 hours a week, you would be physically on campus in a classroom. In addition to those 4 hours you spend in the classroom, in order to be successful, the rule of thumb is you would spend eight hours outside of class, whether that 8 hours was spent completing assignments, going to tutoring, studying for an exam, working with a study group, doing extra practice problems, meeting with your instructor, whatever it is. Those 8 hours would be dedicated towards the course, and that would make a total of 12 hours. So it's just a general rule of thumb that for every 1 hour you spend in a classroom for a college level class, you should spend about 2 hours outside of the class preparing for that class. That's just a general rule of thumb and habit of successful college students. Now, since you don't physically come to campus and sit in a classroom for 4 hours a week, those 4 hours are then converted to learning on your own at your house or in your coffee shop or at work or wherever it is you do your online learning. But you'll be watching videos, taking notes, doing practice problems, doing you try it problems. So that serves as your physical classroom. But what that means is you also have to budget that time. So you're looking at about 12 hours a week that you want to be able to effectively and efficiently manage and spread out throughout the week and chunk it into smaller chunks so you're not trying to do all 12 hours in one day, because that's a lot. That's too much, all right? You want to spread those out evenly throughout the week. So hopefully by following a routine, we can efficiently manage our time and look at where we're going to do our assignments and when we're going to do them. Okay, so here's the routine you want to follow. Start by going to the module every week to view the weekly outline. Here is a sample of what a week might look like. So you'll start with the week overview to get a glimpse of what's coming up in the week. Then you'll notice I have the link for the We Meet Wednesday. That's our virtual weekly session where you can connect with me and your classmates to get the help that you need. And then for the rest of this week, we're going to look at the assignments that are due. There's a discussion board due. There's a scavenger hunt quiz due. And then we're going to practice taking an online exam. So we'll review some prior skills. And the point of the practice online exam is just to make sure your technology is working. So it's only 3 quick questions. So when you hear the word exam, it's not a big exam you need to study for. It's more just to make sure that your technology is working. So when we do take the first exam, you've already practiced with your webcam, your microphone, Respondus Lockdown browser, your laptop, your iPad, whatever it is you're using. So that way you know your technology is working efficiently. So when the first exam is due at the end of February, all you have to focus on is answering the math questions, and you already can be confident your technology works. Then you'll upload your written work, and that will become standard practice throughout the semester. Then you'll go to our More course, Maricopa Open Educational Resources, and you'll complete the assignments for the first unit, and then you'll upload your written work from your student workbook pages. Then you'll go back and reply to one of your classmates after they introduce themselves in the discussion board, and then we'll end the week with one more discussion board, which is a discussion board giving you some tips and tricks and strategies for how to build the habits of a successful math student. Okay, so after you view the weekly module, you're most likely going to start with your More media lesson for the unit. The problems that are in the media lesson that you'll see in the video, and you'll see the instructor explaining in the video, They are also aligned with the problems you'll see in your student workbook. So that's why you always want to have your student workbook with you as you're watching the media lesson. So when it's time to open up a given unit, you will go into the More system, click on the unit you're working on, and then that folder will open up and you'll have access to the resources. So here's an example of one video from one of the media lessons. So they're YouTube videos by different instructors. You'll click on the link to play the video, but the screenshot you see in the video is the same image you see on your pages in your student workbook. So your workbook is aligned to the videos. So that gives you a place to take notes as you're watching the instructor in the videos also solve the problems. When you are watching the videos, you want to be taking notes in your student workbook, following along with the instructor in the video. Notice how we're showing all of our work step by step. We're checking all of our work, and we're creating a great resource for us to use later on when we're studying for an upcoming exam or we need to go back and practice a previous skill. You create this. It's for you. It's written down in your own handwriting, and it's really going to help you as you progress through the semester because now you have all these resources to use as a guide. After you take notes on the media lesson, there are some you try problems where you'll pause the video or the video will end and then you'll get to try some problems on your own. And then once you're able to complete those you try problems, you'll have the best confidence because you'll understand that you watched the video, you took notes, and then you tried some problems on your own, and now you understand it all and you're ready to move on. But again, you're still showing your work, checking your work, and everything is nice and organized. After the More media lesson, there are some embedded practice problems in the More assignment, and this is where you'll still want to be showing your work, but you'll be showing it in a separate notebook. So here's an example of an embedded practice problem. You are typing your answers on the computer in the assignment online, but at the same time, you're showing a record of the work you needed to do to arrive at those answers in your own spiral notebook. Okay, so this is what an example of your own spiral notebook page might look like. So we're numbering each question, showing our work step by step. Maybe we had to stop and get some help from an extra video, and then we wrote ourselves a little note on the side. All these little habits, writing notes to yourself in the margin, practicing problems more than once, they're all going to help you build your confidence and really help you increase your understanding as the semester moves forward. Okay, after you complete the media lesson, then you're going to have access to the Check Your Understanding assignment. So they're called CYU. You get 3 attempts at each problem. If you still need another problem, you can always generate a new one for extra practice. Now, these CYU assignments are optional because at every point in the semester, every student is going to be different. Some of you might need a lot of practice on a certain unit. Some of you might be confident as soon as you complete the media lesson. It's going to change for each student throughout the semester. So the CYU is literally your opportunity to check your own understanding, assess yourself as a learner. So even though they're optional, I highly recommend every unit you still go in and you do some of the practice problems. And then after you do a couple, you decide, do I need more or am I okay? The more you do, the more confident you're going to be with the material, and that you can never practice too much, right? So it's only going to help you, but you use them at your discretion every unit. So you definitely want to make sure you're looking at them, doing some of them, and then you kind of use it as a resource to decide if you need more practice or if you're feeling confident. Those are also good problems to bring to the tutoring center if you need extra help, or to use when we meet virtually in the study sessions. You can ask questions about them. So the CYU assignment and More, you can complete them as many times as you need until you feel confident with the material. And then again, you'll be showing your work in your notebook, writing down the number for each question, writing down the section at the top. So if you do have to come in for help to a tutor or to see me during my student hours, whether you come on campus or you meet me virtually, you have a written down record of the problem. I know what section it is. I can easily look in your assignment, find the problem right away, and you can get the help that you need. Now, I talked a lot about showing your work. Well, why do you have to show your work? It's the age-old question that we are always asked as math teachers. Somewhere along the way, you've all been asked to show your work. But I want to make sure you know what that means. Okay, what does it mean? How do I know if I've actually shown my work? So what that means is when any calculation is involved, you've written enough steps so someone familiar with the course could reproduce what you did. Imagine if another classmate or a family member or somebody wanted to understand what you were doing. Could you sit down with them and show them your written work, and could they follow it one step at a time from the beginning to the end? Did you create a path for them to follow towards the solution? Well, if a classmate or if your instructor can tell how you reached your answer without having to guess or fill in any gaps, then you've properly shown your work, and that's your goal. Because if you can show your work, then you have all the tools that you need and all the habits that you need to be successful so you can do similar problems confidently in the future. Okay, after you complete the assignments and more, you want to go back to the modules in Canvas because you could have something else that's due that week, like a discussion board or an extend your learning assignment, or maybe there's an exam that week. So you want to go back to that weekly outline. Now, the extend your learning assignments, you're going to be given a mathematical task and you're going to be given guidelines to answer in the discussion board. Now, this is where you get to show your own unique way for completing the mathematical task. So some students like to write it on their own paper and then take a photo of it and upload it into the discussion board. So these are samples from previous students. So this student, he typed a little bit about his problem solving process, but then we can see he just took a screenshot of his work and uploaded it to the discussion board so we could see his own handwriting. This student did the same thing. We can see all of her work written down. She did a diagram. She explained to us visually what she was visually thinking in her mind. She explained to us so we could all see it, and she wrote down the mathematics to support it. And then she also gave us some text up here to answer her question. This student decided to use her iPad. She used an online whiteboard feature on her iPad, and then all she had to do was save her file on her iPad and upload it right through the Canvas student app. So we can still see her work, and her use of color is really nice because it helps all the different, it helps all her different scenarios stand out from one another. And she's also giving us a verbal explanation of her thought process. So that might be, let me go back to that really quick. That might be an assignment that you end the week with. And then what's really nice about those Extend Your Learning discussion boards is you get the opportunity to look at all the posts from your classmates, and you can see all the unique ways that people might have approached the problem. And then we get to like our favorite response. Just like you'd like a post on Instagram, you can like a post in the discussion board. And then I like to go in and I see which student or which students got the most likes, and I will highlight those in an announcement, or I might pick one that I just think is particularly amazing and I want everyone to see it. So that way you guys can kind of tap into each other's brains and see if there's different and unique ways to solve a problem. So then after that, after that, you're most likely going to be done with the week, and then you just start over again next week. Go back to the weekly module for the next week and start the process. Once you get into a routine, you're going to feel so confident and comfortable with the material, you'll be on a roll. So I look forward to spending this semester with you as you become stronger and more confident in your math.